Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1. I have my, latest video here, and I cannot wait to get this out. I spent all day today sitting down doing this thing on my phablet. Anyway, man, a lot of work. I'm just jamming this together on the eve of the pre-day of the timeline. So tomorrow is the pre-day to the timeline. I'm pretty sure this is just exciting. I think I've gotten some stuff that is just culminating from my whole time doing this on YouTube for 7.5 years. So let's just, without any further ado, let's just go forward here. So again, I am the Exalted Lamb 1 on YouTube, but just Exalted Lamb 1 on Telegram. I'm gonna have a link in the description box if you want to sign up for Telegram if you haven't already. And YouTube turns off all my notifications with a lot of people all the time. I get emails and comments all the time. People telling me, hundreds of people over the years telling me that YouTube turned off their comment or turned off their notifications and all kinds of stuff. And I get shadow banned in so many ways. It's not even funny. It's really kind of pathetic. So anyway, we're gonna keep going here. So, but this is my motto: having no part in the worthless deeds of darkness, but instead exposing them. Ephesians 5:11. And something to keep in mind. I'm doing this at 11:30 at night on the eve of the timeline, which is the 21st of December, and the 22nd of December is when I believe the timeline is going to start. And man, I'm tired. So just keep that in mind. I might not be to my 100%. So here, let's keep going here. So again, the elite, they believe hidden in plain sight. Of course, they worship Moloch, the owl in the North America, basically, and the bull, basically, Moloch in like the East and things. So it's different animals for different reasons. I've gotten into that over in the past, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's keep going. And because hidden in plain sight are opposites, they hide things by doing things opposite or even mirrored. You see that how that's mirrored, backwards. And then upside down and backwards are some different ways that they hide things. And I'm going to show that quite a bit in gematria and everything. I show it symbolically different things as well, and I have for years, but I usually show a good amount of gematria and how they hide things in that by, numbers and letters pretty much hidden inside each other, upside down and backwards, opposites, all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to get into that quite a bit today here. Or tonight, really. Okay, so this is my thumbnail for my video. This shows Lily in iPad Go 2. Okay, by the way, there's no other iPad Goats. The iPad Go 1, in a sense, was the actual attack on 9.1 and then 1 back in 2001. And this movie, the only one that's been produced by an actual company that's actually recognized as a real movie. The other ones are all done by other things, and they're not really have nothing to do with this. They just want to, edge in on the popularity and all that. But anyway, this is a real recognized movie on IMDb and other sources. It's done by Heliofont, like I've said before. And this is about a 7-minute movie, animated movie, that shows their plans. And I had a 32nd degree Mason contact me years ago and tell me and confirm it in so many different ways. They had a meeting back in 2008 before Stinky B.O., the 44th Prez, who's the Antichrist Obama, while he was actually running for president. And they had a big meeting in the South with this guy's and his family and all kinds of people in the Southeast. That's all I'm going to say. And they confirmed that this guy showed up, the guy that owns Heliofont, Louis Lefebvre, and some other guy, and he was from Canada. And they basically showed these Freemasons that this was the plan. And I already knew it was. The Lord was showing me this for years. And he uncovered that this thing is a process of a plan to birth the Antichrist. And it's all in here. And I've shared this stuff in so many videos over the years. So I can't cover everything, but I will cover some things in here that I've, especially new revelations I've gotten from the Lord Jesus. So here we go. So Lily, right? Built-in Lily. So Lily represents the first day. She drops the apple, dying and giving birth to the Antichrist. And the apple rolls. Each time it rolls, it's a day. When it splits open, it's the 11th and 12th day. And then as it buds into a flower, which is a water lily, she's a white lily. It turns into a pink lily, and that is also a mushroom. It's a nuke going off as well. And it's all kinds of stuff I've shared over the years. So Lily represents the first day in the scene, and Lily is literally 12, 9, 12, 25, or 12, 9 plus 1, 20, 25. And I've shared over the years how Gematria is hiding in their plans the day, month, and year of their eventual plans. And I've showed this in so many different ways, and ultimately the things that I've been showing over the years would add up to something. And I believe this is finally it. And of course, I've said that before, but we'll see. And the time, the proof is in the pudding. When the events start happening, then that'll be the evidence of what's happening. But I've seen a lot of things in the past in dreams and visions starting about 10 and a half years ago. And the Lord has confirmed that for me so many different ways in this programming, in these symbols, in the gematria, in all these different things, in media, and in iPad Go, which is kind of a blueprint that a lot of things go by, believe it or not. And I've shown that over the years how that's the case. So right here above her, you have a white bunny. It's also a white rabbit, but in this case, for the numbers, how it works perfectly, 12-9. And you got 12-9 plus 1 in Lily 2025. And this is going to be on the Julian, okay? And a checkered floor. Again, that's Freemason. The Masonic lodges have a checkered floor. This is all over, even in a lot of the media. It's in Westminster Abbey. When the Queen had her funeral, Westminster Abbey has a checkered floor. That's all about this as well. And when she died, it's symbolic of Lily dying, and she's linked to this in so many different ways. Oh man, I could show so much. I just don't have so much time, and I want to do a shorter video, and I just don't have enough time. I mean, literally, it's almost the next day. It started at 11:30 tonight, and I'm just into this a few minutes. So, and then again, this is on the Julian calendar, and my timeline. That's going to be represented by the Gregorian, of course, because that's most of you are following. It's going to be pinned to the top of comments on this video. So look in comments, and pinned to the top of comments. It's going to be all the events and the whole timeline. It's a 14-day timeline with a pre-day and a post-day. The post-day is really the start of the tribulation. I'm going to get into some of that here, so how this works. So it's crazy. So, and I'm going to show you an event right here. Again, this is in my thumbnail. An event I show in this thumbnail. This is part of this thumbnail here. Event 1 of 6. So I'm saying on day 1, which is the pre-day and the first day, each thing has 2 days. There's an event day and a reporting day. The event 1 of 6 is former President Biden dying. And he's programmed in so many different things in movies and TV and such. It's really crazy. He's a version of Drebin, like Frank Drebin. Very, not very bright. Missing a lot of things, stumbling, bumbling, all that kind of stuff. And I've shown how Drebin equals Biden in so many different ways. It's crazy. And a lot of other things. It's all out there. But his Joe Biden's name breaks down, if you just follow this, you can follow this yourself, breaks down into eventually 12-9-25, and that's his death is going to be, and his death is going to be on 12-9, and then plus 1 is 12-10, and it'll be reported on 12-10. And then his birthday is 20th of November 1942, and you kind of follow this breakdown and then this gets to 12-9 plus 1, 25, and then you could take away the 1 with Rule of Kalel, but just to show you have this and this being both 12-9, 25 and 12-9 plus 1, 25 both days, but ultimately becomes 12-9. Again, Rule of Kalel is a Freemasonry rule that I've shared many times. I'm not going to share in this video, but basically you can add or subtract a 1 based on the monad, the so-called great architect, and he could be taken and added away anytime, and all this stuff is kind of crazy. But anyway, that's how this works. So I'm going to keep on going here. Oops. Okay. So again, not again, but Biden's birthday here, November 20th. Again, his birthday, November 20th. And by the way, in his birthday is 4, 2 upside down and backwards is 2 6s, because 4s, I'm going to show you how 4s are 6s. I've shown that in the past. 2 6s, which is 12. And then we have 1, you can get rid of any 9, because anything you add 9 to stays the same. For example, 1 plus 9 is 10, and take away the 0, you're back to 1. So that's upside down and backwards 2 6s, which is 12, 1 plus 20, and then November is 1 and 1, which is 22, plus 1 is 23. So that's 12/23 the first day. But anyway, that, whatever. Again, I sometimes I just think of things right as I'm talking here, and that's all in here too. But if you go from his birthday, which just happens to be the exact day of when Jupiter entered Virgo to begin the Revelation 12 sign, and Jupiter bounced around inside the belly, in a sense, of Virgo for about a little over 9 months, and then came out between the legs of the constellation Virgo, and that simulated a birth, and that's in Revelation 12, the book of Revelation in the Bible, chapter 12, and it talks about it, and that happened back in 2017. I'm going to get into that here again, but from when Jupiter entered Virgo on November 20th, literally from Biden's birthday to that day is 888 months. And that is pretty crazy. That's not a coincidence. So because if you go from his birthday to this day he's going to be reported dead, he literally is 3/8. He turned 83, but that's 3/8. Again, 3/8, see? 3/8. And from his death, or for his last birthday to his death day is 33. Again, Freemasonry 33. Highest level Freemasonry 33. 33, if you ever research 33, it's in everything. It's in most major religions. 33 is a massive thing. Jesus was 33 when he was crucified and all that kind of stuff. And it's in just all kinds of religious stuff everywhere. It's massive, and it's massive in Freemasonry. 3 and 33 are massive in Freemasonry. Anyway, for lots of reasons I won't get into right now. Okay, anyway, and then so we have the Gregorian, the pre-day and the first day, and then if you minus 13 days from that, you have the same days, but they're on the Julian calendar. These are exactly the same days. It's not like you're going 13 days earlier, but just that this tomorrow will be 12 for me doing this video right now, 12/22. But then that same day tomorrow will be 12/9 on the Julian calendar. Hopefully that makes sense. And then 12/23, the first day is first. This is the first day because it makes it first day on the Julian, because it starts with 1. And then 12/11 is 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 12/12 is 1 plus 2 is 3. Like that. And it goes all the way to 14. But then I knew for a long time, for years, that one of these will start with a 1. I had the pre-day of 9 and start with 1 and go through 14. And didn't know. And like my last 3 videos before this, I was looking at 12/9, 12/10, and beyond for the Gregorian. Well, that didn't happen, of course. And then we're running out of time for 2025. Man, there are so many things I've shared and I could share about 2025. It's massive. I mean, it's the only squared year since 1936. 2025 is 45 times 45, or the square root of 2025 is 45. And there's a lot of reasons for all that. And I'm going to get into all that, but it's massive. And then the idea we're going into 2026 as well, and there's some things with that. But let's keep going here. I'm also going to cover here a third, I'm going to cover a fourth timeline, fourth calendar as well, but the third one a little bit, the Roman, but we're going to deal with the Hebrew right now. So Hebrew calendar, and I'm just dealing with the days in the Hebrew year in order. This is so crazy. The Lord showed me this recently, and this has been massively key to what I'm going to share with you now. Hebrew, and the Hebrew calendar that, not the real one that is God's creation calendar, or there's even the Torah calendar, and there's some credibility to that, somewhat, and all that, but the one that Israel goes by, that's not really completely accurate, but they go by that because that is, ultimately Israel, the state of Israel is the synagogue of Satan, like Jesus said. And, again, a lot of people under their rule, some people know what's going on, a lot of people don't. So they're not necessarily part of it. But anyway, so the Hebrew number of the 269th day of the year, and now keep this in mind, if we have these days here, this is offset from this day because we're talking about the day changes at sunset. So this is offset. It's not right next to it. So you have this, the 269th day begins at sunset, and then that's 12/22, within 12/22. And then there's a one right here, which is the 270th day of the year. I'm not showing that, putting that right here for a reason. And I'll show you what that means in a second here. And then also, let me show you why. Okay, so, sorry. The 269th day of the spiritual year that begins in the spring and starts on Nisan, okay? And then this number represents the number that we're at in the Hebrew calendar that's right going into this day on the Gregorian, but it's this day. Again, this is sunset right here, 21st going into the 22nd, and that's the 92nd day of the civil calendar beginning on Tishri that happened here basically in September, okay? The, Rosh Hashanah and all that. So, and so these are massive. Wait till you see this. This is incredible. The Lord showed me about this. So we have 3 calendars, and they're going to coincide so many different ways with what I'm showing you. And then just to show you here, there's a day here, and I'm going to show you over here as well. But there's a 93rd day of the year, of course, in order right here. Then this day is right in here, in between these two and these two here. There are these 3 days, because you got sunset, 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 and then these are just basically midnight when they change, but these are sunset. And so they're offset from these. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, but this one right here, the 269th day of the spiritual calendar and the 92nd day of the civil calendar is the 2nd of Tevet. And this one right here, the 93rd day of the civil calendar is, oh wait, actually, before I do that, let me go back. Okay, I'm switching that right here from December 9th to 9th of December because the reason why this is 2nd of Tevet, I'm going to share this, is because I was told a few years ago the Antichrist is born, and obviously be born on these first days, on 210. The Lord definitely told me in a dream, and I shared this years ago, in February, like 3 years ago. He said, ISIS is born, because he's ISIS for a number of different reasons. He's also, Stigabio, the 44th Prez, is a hermaphrodite, and he's a clone. It's a clone, and all kinds of stuff. I've shared this. I've shown pictures of him. He is Akhenaten. He looks exactly like him. I have a half face of him and Akhenaten. I've showed this in many videos. And he equals Akhenaten, all kinds of stuff. And he's the Egyptian king reborn to basically be the Antichrist in so many different ways. Anyway, ISIS is born at 210. And then if you take this, flip this like I did, flip this backwards, it's 9th of December instead of December 9th. 1 + 9 is 10. You go backwards, 210. And the same day, basically, one in the Julian and one in the Hebrew is 210. 210. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And this day right here is the 3rd of Tevet. And now I'm going to throw the 4th of Tevet over here and switch this back. The Tevet 4 or 4th of Tevet, okay, over here. And that is this first day, 1223, which is also 1210 on the Julian, 1223 on the Gregorian. Okay, so this day is 1222 and 129 is when Biden will actually die. Again, it's my prediction. We'll see. If not, it's going to be these same numbers in some other way, form, or fashion, okay? Like I've shared over the years. I mean, I have all kinds of symbolic examples of these over the years on each of my day in the timeline. And they hit exactly on the numerology for that day, because they're symbolic and of what's coming in the future on these exact symbolic days. So that's how I would know. Now we'll see if it actually happens. If it does, then you'll see how this exactly plays out. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so he would die on 1222 on the Gregorian, and then report on 1223. And same thing with 1209, it was tomorrow, and then the next day will be 1210 on the Julian. Okay, so watch this. Biden dies. Okay, I could give you so many different examples of this. With Biden, I'm just giving you a few. Okay, so right here, in full reduction, 4, 4 upside down and backwards is 6, 6. Again, that's hiding. 4 is hiding 6 upside down and backwards. And 4 is also hiding 9s. And again, 9 upside down and backwards are 6s. Okay, hopefully you can see how those are 6s. And then the full reduction, the reverse full reduction is 5 + 5 is 10. So that's 1210 right there, 1210. See that? And then 7, 1 is L. 7 just flips to an L, and that's 12, 1 or 121. And 121 is right here, 121. And I'll show you later how exactly it's 1210, because so many people might say, oh, you added a 0. But no, if you start off with this, and then you just, zeros don't matter, you take the 0 off, and you have a 12, 1 or 121. Okay. Anyway, but I'll show you more. And then this number right here, 172, is that one backwards. This is the Hebrew 271st day of the year on the spiritual calendar, and that's 271 backwards in it, and that's a chance. No, I don't think so. And then right here you have two sixes. Trust me, this is how they do it, hiding things. Two sixes, which is 12, and like I said, 4 is hiding 9. Nine's basically this shape. You got a closed loop, and then a stem right here, or whatever you call that. So it's 2 6 9, 12 9. Again, right here, 12 9. Oops, 12 9, and then we have backwards 23rd of December. December, if you didn't know, is Decem on the Roman calendar, and that's the 10th month in Roman calendar. So 23rd of Decem is right here, Decem 23. So we got 12 9, two sixes is 12 and 9, 12 9, and then 23rd of December right here, 23rd of December. Anyway, okay, so this is the timeline, the first 2 days, and I just showed a couple things. I usually show the whole timeline and different things, but I'm going all the way through all the events, and this is the last day of the timeline. This is the 14th day. So it would be 12/14 over here. You add 13 days to that. Sorry, you subtract. No, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah. So, wow, this is. I'm a little bit off here. Okay, so yeah, you're adding. Sorry, 20. You add 14 days to this, and you have 12, 20, 24, and you're adding 13 days back to get to this. Okay. Yeah, wow. Okay. And then so this is the last day, and then the post day is January 6, 26. And that's when the tribulation technically starts. This is when these 2 days really depends on, again, everything's a 2-day thing. This is when nukes go off in 23 cities in the United States. And this has been seen by many people, nukes going off. And I mean, many people have dreams, and I have all kinds of support of this. I've shared over the years. Nukes go off, and the balance of the faithful goes up. The balance of the bride goes up. Now, the faithful, 144,000, leave on the 11th and 12th day, the day of the mega tsunamis. Again, look at my timeline of events, pinned to the top of comments. If you want to see all the details, all the events on each day and all the days, okay? But for this situation, I'm going to just show this, okay? Now, watch this. Now, September 23rd was a Revelation 12 sign, and a lot of things are pinned to that. It's very symbolic of the birth of the Antichrist and the birth of the man-child, both. Now, watch. 269. Okay, wait, before I do that, just think of these being the meat patties, and they're kind of red. Think of them being the meat patties of the first day. And think of these being the buns, the top bun and the bottom bun that sandwiches these two meat patties of the first day. So they're both first. This is the first day, and this is the first day. This is the pre-day, and this is the first day in a sense, because they're tied to this, because they're right next to these, and they're within the same day, somewhat, within hours of the same day. But think of this being, okay, so now we're sandwiching this. Now look, 269, September 23rd, spelled out. 269, 271, 271. And look, in reverse English, which is reverse ordinal times 6, is 1626, or January 6th, 2026. January 6th, 2026. Are you kidding me? See that? Boom, boom, boom. Color coordinated. I should have waited till I did the color coordinated thing. See, I'm not completely on it. A little off. I'm tired. So, and then the rest of the date of the Revelation 12 sign was September 23rd, 2017. And look, these are the same. Look at this. This is not a coincidence. This is massive, non-coincidental, massive. Again, 269, the buns that are sandwiching the first 2 days in the Gregorian. 271. And this just happens to be, these happen to be the first days, or what I call the first day, and then this happens to be the first day of the tribulation, and it's written in these exactly the month and day, and then the year exactly the same. I think not. Okay, and then we have, here's another crazy thing. Now, I have a friend named Daniel that I've known more recently in the last few months, through another friend, and we've been talking back and forth, and I've been sharing a number of things about some of this stuff. And then he came up with something that just blew my mind. And it's so funny. His name is Daniel. And you'll see what that means in a second here. But this is the Revelation 12 sign in some form or fashion, showing you how it was a sign Now, there's a lot more details that this doesn't show, and I've showed over the years, but it's massively legitimate. This was a lining up of these stars. I mean, it really basically read Revelation 12, and you'll see it's basically right here. It happened on September 23rd, 2017, like I show right here. September 23rd, 2017. It's crazy. And so if you take this date and you add 42 months, so the Antichrist, when the tribulation starts, and the tribulation will basically start on 1/6/26. Now watch this. When you add to this, the Revelation 12 sign, Jupiter exited Virgo and it came out 2 weeks after and then made this alignment. When you add 42 months, the Antichrist, when the tribulation begins, it says the Antichrist in Revelation will reign for 42 months. And then you add 70 weeks of Daniel, and this was found by Daniel. You got to understand God's humor on this and my Lord Jesus' humor on this. It's so funny. Daniel gave me this about 70 weeks of Daniel. And then the last bit of the tribulation in days, so this is 42 months, which equals in days 1,260 days. So you have 42 months, which equals 1,260 days, and you have 1,260 days. So in a sense, that's 7 prophetic years total. It's the tribulation is 2 sets of 3.5 years, 3.5 prophetic years, where each year is 360 days, and all that. So hopefully that makes sense. So when you add this to that, you get the beginning of the tribulation, January 6, 2026, and that's a coincidence? I think not. And there's a number of reasons why this works and why this makes sense. And I'm not getting into that right now. Okay. Another thing I want to show you is I've shared this with you in the last few videos. This was my last video. In an episode of The Simpsons, this is, again, like Freemasonry. This was kind of showing you stuff about what they do, kind of making fun of it, so it seems like more tame. But this is what these people believe. In fact, Matt Groening, who came up with The Simpsons and is part of The Simpsons, he is a member. He is a Freemason, and that's easily proven. And this is when he literally this guy talks about number 1, okay, and then he says, yeah, and we don't have names anymore. I'm number 12, and he's 14, and that's on the Julian. That's the first attack day. And then he says, here comes. We don't call him Smithers anymore. We call him, or whatever his name is, Smithers, I think it is. We call him 29. So he said, this guy first won, and then he said there's 12:40. So that's a timeline. It's 12:9, and then when he says 12:9, when he says Smithers, which completes the 12:9, he puts his palm out. And then I showed the different hand. Watch my last few videos, my last 3, which cover this whole timeline. But I thought it was on the Gregorian. But there's all this evidence showing that this timeline is very valid. And it just didn't know it was on the Julian, of course, okay? And then this is the first attack day. This is the 5th day. And literally, he's showing the palm. This is also the first day because 12:9 and then 12 and then 1 plus 4 is 5, and 5 is made up 2 plus 3. And so that's 12:23 on the Gregorian for the first day and 12:9 for the pre-day on the Julian. Hopefully that makes sense. So this is the first day, and it's also in a sense the first attack day on the Julian. So anyway, there's so much. So palm, and then when Lily drops the apple, she shows her palm, or you could say palms. S is 19, and then you can get rid of the, because 19, 1 plus 9 is 10, you take away the 0, so you just get rid of the 9. So you add 1, that's just adding 1 day or taking 1 day away, and you can actually literally just take that off. So palm versus palms is no big deal. If anything, it subtracts 1 day from that day, and I'm going to show you what it is here. And then look, this is a big meme, probably the biggest meme since memes started, 6-7, and it's all about the Antichrist. It's about showing the palm or the palms up and down and all that. 6-7, okay, it's crazy. And literally, dictionary.com names it 6-7, the word of the year, which is, and I showed in my last video how 6-7 spelled out is the same day of 12-9. 6-7, watch again, showing the palms. Upside down and backwards is L9 or 12-9, the pre-day on the Julian. Okay? It's crazy. Oh, my back's killing me right now. I'm sitting in this chair all day, and now it's like just having a hard time. Now it's about midnight now. Wow. It's crazy. Okay. So that's 12-9. See how that is? And showing the palm. Now I'm going to show you why palm. Again, this is a practice by Freemasons showing the palm or the palms. Okay, and same thing with palm trees. That's why they call that. Number of different reasons for that. I'm not getting into all that. So palm is 16, 1, 12, and 13. And now we're going to go back. We're going to bring this down. We're going to bring 16 down and 1 down. We're going to switch the 13 and the 12. Okay, so just switch those. You could say pommel. Anyway, but you can just switch these anytime. You can switch one from the other, bam, bam, like that, easily. So, and then bring this down again. And so we have 1 plus 6 is 7. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. Bring down the 3. Bring down the 12 still. And then boom, you see something shaping up here? Watch. 7 is now we can add or compress numbers, and then we can decompress. That's how they hide things. You decompress 7 into 2 plus 5, and then 2 and 3, bring those down to 12. And look, we got the first day. That's why they show the palm secretly, because the first day on the Gregorian, the actual Gregorian, is 12, 23, 25, and that's in palm. In fact, in La Palma, in the first day, will be both days. La Palma, and it's right in front of your face, right there. La Palma is an island off the coast of Africa, on the northeast coast of Africa, and it's getting ready to go off again. And I'm predicting that it happens on this day, in a couple days. And guess what? The last time it went off, it was a first day. It was 9:19, and that's 1 plus 9 is 10, and that's a 1. And then it stopped going. It stopped the lava coming out on December 25th. And December 25th is coming up here, and this is all part of the timeline. It's just crazy. It's all connected. And then so you have, oh look, LA. LA is 121, which is Antichrist. Again, Antichrist is birthed on 121. Why? Because 121 is 121 or 12 and then 10 backwards, 1210. So right here we literally have 1210 and backwards 12, 23, 25. So you add to 1210 on the Julian 13 days and you have 12, 23, 25. And then this 1 is here, so you can go back and see how this is backwards. 1 in front of anything backwards in Roman numerals, for example, I from X is 1 from 10 is 9. So 1 from 12, 23, 25 is 12, 22, the pre-day. Or 1 from 12, 10 is 12, 9. See how this works? It's crazy. So you literally have in La Palma the first day and the pre-day of both calendars. Okay, it's right in there, La Palma. And it's also in Ireland and everything else. Anyway, okay, I'm not getting into that. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, then again, this day 1223 on the Gregorian, in the Hebrew, it's Tevet 4, or 4th of Tevet. Now, why would it be this Tevet? Why would it be any other year of Tevet? Why would it be any other year? You go, okay, maybe it's next year, or maybe I have the wrong year. Well, there's a lot of things supporting this year, and Tevet is one of them. That this would happen this first day would happen on Tevet, because look at this. Do you see something curious about Tevet that's different about it's odd about this word that's different than most words? Yeah, it's a palindrome. It's spelled the same way forwards as backwards. And that is, to me, immediately suspect. And immediately I looked at it when I was looking at this, and I'm like, okay, I already know what's going on here. Okay, so what is it? What could it be? It's a mirror, or like I said, a palindrome, same way forward as backwards, spelled the same way forward as backwards. But even more deeper than that, what do these add up to? What is this a mirror of? It's a mirror of 2025. Wow, it's pretty much. I mean, with you can make it a little. It's a little bit off of the exact mirror, but it's 2025, 2025. It's a mirror of. It's emphasizing. It is doubling down on 2025. Are you kidding me? And then 1223 this year only is on a Tuesday. Well, I mean, other years it would be on a Tuesday, but what's significant about that? Why does that matter? Well, because like I shared first and last letter code on all kinds of phrases and words and everything like that. I don't know of anybody who does, but first and last letter code of Tuesday is 2025, and that's not all. And I believe words are here for a reason, and that we're at the time. This is what these words were designed to be. And so if it marks out this exact time, then there's a good chance we're here. But look, in between that is UESDA, and that is, I'm going to color code this. So because this is backwards, it's 12. So we're going to go backwards here, but we're going to make that 12 because that's what it is. 5 plus 1 plus 4 is 10. Now 9, the reason why I put 9 as red is because 9 can be removed. And also 2025 is 2 plus 2 plus 5, which is 9. Then so that can be removed. But we're just gonna remove this 9 because anything you add 9 to stays the same. We're gonna remove this 9 because you can. And then so we have 12, 5 plus 1 plus 4 is 10. And we know because this 12 is backwards, it's backwards. So it's 1 from 10th of December is 10th of December and 9th of December. 1 from 10th of December is 9th of December, or with rule of Kalel, we can take this 1 away. With rule of Kalel, we can take this 1 away, and with rule of nines, we can take a 9 away. So we literally have backwards 1 from 10th of December, 2025 forward. It's crazy. It's right in this word, and I think these words are predictive programming. Everything's predictive programming that you read, you hear. English is predictive programming. When you're spelling something, you are casting a spell. You're spelling on something. You're casting a spell when something is being spelled. That's how this is. When you're watching a program on TV, you're being programmed. There's a reason why things are called things and you don't even realize. This is all hidden. English is designed to program you to the coming of the Antichrist, and that's it. It's not. That's what it's for. That's its ultimate goal. Okay, so. And then Tuesday just happens in reverse English. The full Tuesday just happens to be 94, which is the 94th day of the civil year, which is the first day. That's just another coincidence about Tuesday? I don't think so. And then look at the back of the dollar bill. You have annuit coeptus, and then novus oro secularum. And then this is, what's novus oro secularum? Well, right here, I'm pointing to this right here. Novus oro secularum. I'll give you another way that this matches up with the first day. Novus ordo secularum is new order of the ages in English. And look, 271, the first day. 1626, January 626, the first day of the tribulation. The first day of the timeline, first day of the tribulation. And that's announcing a new order. So the timeline begins a new order of transition, and then this begins a new order of the tribulation, a new world order. A new world order? And I'm just talking about George Bush in a second. New world order, dude. Okay, so in a second here. Okay, so again, Novus Ordo Secularum. Now we're going to deal with not just what it means, but also it spelled out. And it just happens to be that if you look at the bottom of the pyramid, that's in Roman numerals. Like I said, all this stuff's Roman. We're in revised Roman Empire that's coming to pass in the tribulation. And so that is Roman numerals 4, 1776. So we start at the founding of the United States, July 4, 1776, and then we just happen to have, oh, look, we're right now we're in the 249th year of the United States. And then look, oh, wow, look at this, 78 plus 93 just happens to be 171. You're like, okay, what does that matter? Who cares about that? It just happens to be that we're in the 249th year of the United States, and we're in the 171st day of that 249th year on, guess what? If you go from July 4th, 1776, and you go to December 2nd, the pre-day, which is tomorrow, you got 249 years and 171 days. And this is not written in things. This is not programming you. It is. Look at that. That's incredible. That is not a massive off-the-charts ridiculous coincidence because there are no such things. This is absolutely planned. And it's in your dollar bill that you look at and use and all that stuff your whole life. It's all in front of you. All this stuff's in front of you. And there's so much more that everything you see and everything that the government does, everything that media does, everything is all designed to program you to the coming of the Antichrist and to enslave everybody to the mark 666. In fact, the first day, 666, is 6 plus 6 is 12, and then 6, and that upside down and backwards is 912, the first day. Okay, it just happens to be on the Julian. I thought it might have been on the Gregorian, but no, it's hidden even more on the Julian calendar. You had 13 days, and that's 1222. Tomorrow, I believe, we'll see. See if some of these events happen. Okay, now also Novus Ordo Secularum, again, right here. Let me go back here. This is the three base cipher, 3 of the 4 base ciphers. So you have the base cipher being English, and then reverse English is the other one, and then full reduction, reverse full reduction. Now we did this. Now the other fourth of the 4 base ciphers is right here, and then we have English times 6 is English Sumerian and its reverse. These are times 6 of English and its reverse, okay? So we're bringing these to the party, and these are going to tell you the exact day. So this is going from 4th of July, 1776, 249 years and 171 days. And now we're going to get to the destination date of these days right here. Now watch, 210 on the Hebrew calendar, 2nd of Tevet. And then right here we have this. How is this 1210? How is this 1210? Because remember, 4 upside down and backwards is 6. So 4 is 6, 6 upside down and backwards, which is 12. And then 9 plus 1 is 10, 1210. And then right here, very simply, we have 12 and 6 upside down and backwards is 9. So 12, 9, 12, 9. So we have literally hiding, again, like I said in the very beginning of the video, they hide things upside down. It's hidden in plain sight, like the owl in the tree trunk, okay? And it's upside down and backwards, opposites, like I'm sharing with you. So anything you look at, it can be upside down and backwards, opposites, and that's how they hide it from you, hidden in plain sight. Get it? Get it? And so you don't look at things backwards. Most people look at things forward. They don't think of things upside down and backwards. They don't think of things opposite. And that's how they show it to you and program you without you knowing it's right in front of your face and that you're being programmed by it. Okay, because it's still there, and then somehow it has power. I don't ask me how that works, but it's spiritual. It's spiritual. So this 4 and 4 upside down and backwards, like I showed you earlier, is 6, 6, which is 12. 9 plus 1 is 10, 12, 10, and 12, and then 6 upside down and backwards. Again, upside down and backwards is 9. 12, 9, 12, 9 right there. And 12 and 210. Isis is born at 210. Crazy. And then right here, again, I said in Roman numerals, this is 1776. So 1776 spelled out is 271, 271, 1626, 1626. By the way, this is when the Antichrist Barack Hussein Obama and former Pope Francis, the 266 Pope on 16 and 26s, 666 comes out into the world as the Antichrist and his false prophet. Again, look at this. 16 and 26s is 666. And then the former Pope is the 266th Pope, and that's 2 6s and 16, or 2 6s and 16. Is in the 6th of January 26, for example. It's crazy. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And then this whole thing right here in Roman numerals, you take those Roman numerals and you put them in English gematria, or reverse ordinal, it's 129 or 12-9 right there. That's another off-the-charts coincidence? I think not. And then if you go from 4th of July this year, or just for example, going from 4th of July to December 23rd in a year is 172 days, which is exactly backwards 271. And that's not planned? Kerr, please. Okay, now this is Skull and Bones. This is a picture of Skull and Bones from Yale. Skull and Bones Society, Brotherhood of Death. I mean, all kinds of things they're called. But most people know them as Skull and Bones. 322 Skull and Bones. Down here is 322. You can't really see it, but I'm going to show it to you in just a second, okay? Now, this is a photo from the 1800s, okay? And then this is a photo from 1948 where George Bush was a member, okay? George H.W. Bush. Nugget of all nuggets, George Bush. Okay, there's a reason why Dana Carvey did his voice, because Dana Carvey equals the same numbers. Anyway, whatever. All kinds of stuff. It's just, I could get into so much. It's 322's down here. But anyway, so watch this. This is a roster that was printed up every single year for every single group, and this was 1948. That's when he was a member of the Skull and Bones, okay, and originally founded in 1832, which is backwards 23rd of September. 1 plus 8 is, and then 23rd of September is hiding the first day as well. I'm not getting into that right now. And then right here, the 4th member down, I just cut this off here. The 4th member listed, there's a whole list of guys, all these guys here. George Herbert Walker Bush, George Bush. Okay, anyway, 1948 is hiding what? That's the year. There's a bunch hiding here. The first days of when Skull and Bones begins. And this is all about the days of Skull and Bones' beginning, okay? When death begins on a massive scale, okay? 1948 is what? Well, first of all, I'm going to blow this up, okay? So I'm going to blow this up so you can see a little bit better. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, 1948 is 19, and then 4 plus 8 is 12. And by the way, if you flip this 9 to a 6, you have August 4th, 61. The Antichrist's birthday, Barack Obama's birthday on August 4th, 1961. You just flip that over. In fact, it was crazy. I was just having lunch with a brother of mine. Hey, Andy. And we were literally at a place, and its address, we were talking about all this stuff, and its address was 4861. So it literally was 4th of August, 1961, 4861 of this place. It was like, wow, we were literally talking about, and then I was in the hallway waiting for something, and then I looked up, and by the way, and that's hiding again 12 9 plus 1 backwards, 12 9 plus 1 backwards, okay, 12 9 plus 1, and I was looked up, and it said maximum occupancy in this place we were at, and it said 129 people. I was like 12 9, and the Lord just messing with me, laughing at that point. He was like laughing, and he's like, see, I bring you to 4861, which is really 4891 or 12 9 plus 1. And then you look up, and there was other things too. We literally went on a highway that equals 12 9 as well. All kinds of stuff. It was crazy day. The Lord's showing me stuff. He messes with me every day, but with all the stuff, but it's crazy. It literally shows it in all kinds of creative ways in my life. I'm like, you constantly blowing my mind all the time, Anyway, now watch. Now, see, this is hiding something very important too. This is 1 and 9/12. Now, listen, there's an event that happened back in 2001 that wasn't good for the United States, and the reporting date for that was 9/12. So 1 from 9/12 is, ooh. So ultimately, the first day, this is hiding the first day of 12 9 plus 1, and it's 1 from 9/12, or 1 from September 12th is September, and then 1. I have to say it that way in code, because if I say that word that most people are familiar with, I say it 9 1 and then 1, then I'll get even more shadow banned than I already am, which is almost impossible, but that's the way it is. So anyway, and then this guy, he did a speech on Congress in 1990 on 9 1 and 1, talking about the New World Order, not allow the jungle, the New World Order, and all this stuff. And then his son, who's George Bush also, he was George Bush Sr., George H.W. Bush, but he was George Bush. And then his mini-me, George W. Bush, where they both have W's in there, George W. Bush, or George Bush also, he oversees when 9 1 and 1 happens as it's happening, and that's not planned. His father has a big speech about the New World Order on 9 1 and 1 in 1990, which is also 10 9. 19 is 10 and 9 is 9. December 90, December 9, December 9. Get it? 1990 is December 9. Crazy. And then his namesake was there when it happened, and he did a speech about New World. Anyway, and by the way, New World Order also equals 12 10 and 12 9. I'm not going to get into that right now. It's crazy. It's nuts. This is all planned, peoples. All planned. And then George Bush, whether it's senior or junior, it doesn't matter, and forget about the middle initials and all that stuff, equals, because it's all they're representing the Antichrist, and they're both presidents, because the Antichrist is a former president. Barack Insane and Obama exactly match, but one in reverse, the other one in regular. It doesn't matter. It's the same numbers, and all these numbers equal the first day, and I'm gonna get into it right now, and other days too, but I'm not getting into that right now either. Okay, so and then we have 3 2 2. It's 3 2 2 skull bones, which 3 is hiding. You decompress 3 into 1 and 2, and then you have 2 2. Oh, look, you have December 22nd, the pre-day on the Gregorian tomorrow. Well, it's actually, I'm sorry, it's past midnight now. It's tomorrow right now, and I just looked up at the clock right now as I'm saying that, and it's 12:19 in the morning. 12. I looked up at the clock, and it's 12:19 in the morning right now. Wow, the Lord just messing with me all the time. Okay, and then first letter code SAB, and this whole thing is also, but I'm just going to show you. SAB is, look, nine backwards, 12, 9 plus 1, or 1 from 9, 12 is, again, 9, 12, and, or sorry, 19, 12, and 19, 12. See? This is all over. I mean, it's, this, by the way, these bones here are the bones supposedly of Geronimo, the Indian, and they're supposed to give them power because they're consider themselves to be, they're going to be chieftains or chieftains of captains of industry and ruling over people. So Geronimo, the power of Geronimo gives them power and all that stuff. And Geronimo equals these numbers as well. It's not even funny. It's just, it's really sick actually. Okay, anyway. Okay, so then, and then 322 spelled out. So remember, 322 skull and bones. 322 spelled out is, look, 271 backwards, see? And then what's 12.5? Well, 12.5 is 5 times 5 times 5, but that's something. But 12.5 is also 12, and then 5 is 2 plus 3. Oh, look, 12.23 is hiding. See, that's how this is hiding. 5 is hiding, you decompress 5 into 2 plus 3, and there it is right there. And then you have this one right here backwards, again, the 23rd of December. 23rd of December on the Roman calendar, which is the same thing as 1223 or Decem 23 backwards. And that's on the Roman. So I brought in another calendar a little bit. If I would have bringing the full Roman, I wouldn't have room, and so it wouldn't work for this right now. But okay, anyway. Okay, and then I'm going to end with this. Here's Barack Insane Obama, and he basically had a dinner. He had a every year they have a press dinner. The presidents have a press dinner with the press or whatever, and he said one year that he's going to end the war on Christmas. I'm not saying end the war on Christmas, whatever. He's going to end the war on Christmas. And so a lot of people thought he meant there's a war on Christmas, so liberals are trying to get rid of the nativity scenes in government buildings and all kinds of stuff, and then conservatives are against it and all that stuff. But no, he was tongue-in-cheek. He was saying it was spiritual, so he said he's going to end the war as far as against good. He's bad against good on Christmas. And so what I believe that means is Christmas is the third day of the timeline, and it's going to begin some attacks on the United States and, like, I believe Trump's family, like I've said, and we'll see how this plays out. But also, I think a nukes is going to go off on Ukraine's, and Zelensky's going to get killed, some other stuff, and that will begin the war, and then he's going to win the war starting on Christmas. So he's saying that, I'm going to win the war on Christmas. Ultimately, he's going to win the war, but it starts on Christmas. And so this is a YouTube. You can look it up. Obama win the war on Christmas. And this is a guy that's like got 2 million subscribers. So he's completely in the club somehow. I mean, I have 32,000 subscribers, and I can't get 4,000 views sometimes. And I have 32,000 subscribers because they turn off all my notifications and they shadow ban me like crazy. Some people look up my videos and can't find them. So a lot of people don't get notifications. It's just insane what happens to me. I'll literally put comments down on other channels and have other people look for my comment and it's not there, and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it just goes and goes on. YouTube is, wow, I call him YouBoob. Okay, so anyway, this is a war on Christmas, but he's going to really end it. So watch this. Obama, on his birth certificate, this is how his name is on his birth certificate, Barack Hussein Obama II. And we'll watch this. See this? What this is? This is 12 backwards, and 5 plus 4 is 9. Again, that's the first day, the pre-date tomorrow of the time. Today, actually. It's today, sorry. Today as I'm doing this. And I just looked up again, oh my goodness, at the clock, because I was looking at today, and it's 12:23, the first day on the Julian. on the Gregorian. Wow. This is timing on this is crazy. Okay, so that's the pre-date. And then what's 359? Oh, again, we're talking about days of the year. On the Hebrew, does days of the year matter? Yes, on the Gregorian, the 359th day of the year, and he just had his birth certificate name just happens to exactly equal Christmas. The 359th day of the year of the Gregorian year is Christmas. He's going to win the war on Christmas. And his name just happens to equal Christmas? The day of the year? I don't think so. Sorry. Wrong. By the way, this is 12 9 backwards, and this is also 3 is 1 plus 2, and then you can get rid of any 9, and then 5 is 2 plus 3, so that's 35 is hiding 12, and then 5 is 2 plus 3, 12, 23. So the first day on the Julian and the pre-day, so first day on the Gregorian and the pre-day on the Julian. Anyway, whatever. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, wait, one more thing, actually. And notice he's wearing purple and ultraviolet. And I've said for years that in iPad Goat that ultraviolet is his color. A number of reasons why. Because Lucifer is ultimately Satan, and Satan will ultimately be the Antichrist, and Lucifer was supposed to be a light being, a bearer of light, an evil bearer of light and all that stuff. And then ultraviolet is a specific kind of light that he's supposed to represent, and then he's always wearing it like an iPad Goat in different things. Like the Black Panther, for example, is a representation of the Antichrist, the character, the Marvel character, and he literally jumps up and powers his suit by ultraviolet light, and just boom, and he blows up enemies away with this ultraviolet light that comes out of his suit, and boom, and all kinds of things. So Obama, as this character in iPad Goat, he's wearing a ultraviolet tassel. And then secretly behind Lily is all these different presidents, and this is Obama with his ear. See his big ear, and he's got an ear. He's the only one with an ear showing because he's known for his big ears. And there's an ear, and he has ultraviolet. He's the only character that has ultraviolet on the front of him, kind of sprayed on there a little bit or something. Okay, and then there's other characters that have a little bit of, like there's the skeleton character in iPad Goat, and it's Baron Samedi he represents as well. The voodoo skeleton, Baron or whatever, and on his hat and that represents Obama when he's dead. He's going to come back to life. On his hat is ultraviolet. On his top hat, all kinds of stuff. There's different characters in iPad Go, and they're secretly are obviously wearing ultraviolet, and there's ultraviolet and purple, or even maybe a couple shades of ultraviolet right there. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you got some of this. This is mind blowing, really, what I got, and I have a lot more, but I just don't have the time to share it, and it's already the pre-day as I'm sharing this. It's crazy. So I want to thank you, everyone that's ever, been a part of this channel and given and prayed and positive comments and all that stuff and all those things. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone who's ever put up with me and everything. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you've given to me and my family, we are on our knees thanking you and thanking our Father in heaven and our Lord Jesus Christ for them working in you to help us. And also, I thank you for giving if you're able to give now. If you're able to give, we could use it. I mean, I hope this is first day and it's not going to matter. But if it's not, we need it. I mean, we really need it right now. In fact, we need it for a number of things. I mean, we literally have a few bucks to rub together right now for food. If we go beyond this at all, we're going to need stuff for food and things again. So thank you if you're able to give. I got links in the description box below for PayPal, and you can sign up, or you can go, you can use a credit card, different things. You don't have to be a member of PayPal. There's different ways. You can even use Zelle, what is it called, Venmo, through that link and all that stuff, and that's in the description box below the video or even the title here. There's also Zelle Pay. You can sign up for Zelle at zellpay.com, and that's free transfer from bank to bank and whatever, or I have a P.O. box as well, whatever. But I'm hoping that doesn't matter, and this is the day it starts, the pre-day. And by the way, on these events on the first day, if you look at the timeline, if you know the timeline or you don't, it's pinned at the top of my comments. Usually the pre-day events that would happen, like Biden dying and some other things happening, some of these pre-day, it would be reported on the next day, or so tomorrow technically on the 23rd. So you wouldn't see something really shown until the 23rd. The other caveat to that is sometimes the first day stuff, they're not as solid. I haven't had visions and dreams of the first day events, but I have of the fourth and fifth day events and beyond, like the tsunamis. I literally had an amazing, intense dream about the tsunamis at 11th and 12th day, and then I've also had a dream about the nukes going down and going off on the last days and things like that, different things like that. And so sometimes I'm not completely sure if the first day is going to come through like I think. We'll see. It's all, the programming is there like crazy, and I think I'm going to be right, but we'll see. So just keep that in mind. So the first day, events on the pre-day will be reported on the first day, the 23rd. So, but if that didn't happen, it's most likely that it'll be the third and fourth day that the events will show up that are going to matter. But we'll see. I don't know. Again, this is my massive guess based on clues I've been given by the Lord over the years and in my life and in predictive programming and all this stuff in the media that I study that the Lord shows me. And so it's my best guess at this point. It always is. So take it with a grain of salt. Like I always said, I just, my best guess. So, but if it happens, you're going to know. The Lord's been showing me this stuff this whole time, and hopefully I finally nail it. I think we might have it this time. So, but we'll see. I don't know until it happens. So we'll leave it at that. And thank you again. If you're able to give, we could really use it, like I said, massively, especially right before Christmas. There's a couple things we need for that without, getting into too much stuff. But thank you for everyone who's ever supported me and my family. This is how I make a living, by warning people what's coming. That's what the Lord wants me to do. Jesus, who I know personally as my friend, and that I really wouldn't do anything else besides what He shows me, and I can't do anything else besides what He shows me, honestly. So anyway, thank you so much. This is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.